All right. Well, hopefully we're. It's the Beat Cops Guide.
Why was it backwards while that was happening, and now it's not backwards?
I switched it.
Oh.
So this is the Beat Cops Guide. All right, we're going to try something new this week. I think we're live on Facebook, but for some reason, YouTube hasn't started up yet. But I might only be able to do it on Facebook. All right, so we're going to try something new this week. Let's see if this works. So we got a live video podcast. Here now we got to switch it so that way when we're looking at the camera, we're on the right side.
Yeah, we're actually he's over there,
Yeah,
and I'm over.
because before it was
here.
he was over there, but so this way when we look towards the camera, we see ourselves in the correct position. I wonder if that's
My seat won't go down.
Yeah, and mine. You have to sit higher than me. I know because you have to feel superior, but. So my name is Lieutenant David Haynes. For those of you who've never seen me before, this is what I look like, and
That is what he
that's
looks
what I look
right
like.
there.
I'm an award-winning
He is
police
Santa.
officer. I do not speak at all for the Chicago Police Department. I only do this in my spare time for fun, and yeah. So, and you are?
I'm Bull Garlington. I'm an award-winning author and columnist. A gadfly man about town.
Oh, my pipe went out while I was getting ready to start up the thing. So, my what is this? My lion, Meerschaum lion pipe.
We need a product camera like right here, so we can switch over and like put a product.
Oh yeah, like this is Sam. This is what I drink, San Pellegrino.
Oh, when I smoke, it's a pipe. But the cool thing now is we can do this part of the show where we go, "Hey Dave, what are you smoking?"
I have yes, I got a bag of tobacco from Big Mike Cigars, and what I actually did was my favorite tobacco lately has been this tobacco called Deep Red.
It's good.
And also Wild Cherry, and so I mixed them together, got an ounce of each, and then
mixing your own now, right? Okay, let's check this out.
Yeah.
Let's put the pipe, little pipe holder thing. Oh wow,
Was it good?
that's intense. I'm gonna smoke that next.
All right. What are you smoking?
I'm smoking Baby's Bottom 1939 by Dunhill.
And if you're a member of the Scandinavian Tobacco Company and would like to do product placement, you can just send us an email at beatcopsguide@gmail.com.
Let's get our Wi-Fi going.
Yeah, you know what? Even though we're on video, you still have to be able to speak intelligently into the microphone.
Why don't you, Dave? Why don't you try go to our page and see if you can do the watch party from the computer. If not, I'll do one from my phone.
Do what?
The Facebook watch party?
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know how to do that though.
So this is basically the way we do things. You'd have to minimize that window, but not close it.
All right.
So I would say minimize that. Put a new tab up. Go. This is instructions for how to do this. For those of you who, this portion of our radio broadcast is me and Dave figuring out how to do our radio broadcast.
Well, you know, the problem is that to actually do this stuff, you have to go live, and it's kind of, I don't want to go live and just look like an idiot. Although I did figure out yesterday that you can go live and not have it being broadcast.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's you're setting up a live
if you're
recording.
live, you're broadcast.
No, you can set it for private. I guess it.
Oh, that's for porn.
Yeah, I guess.
We're not doing that.
We're not. No animals. All right, so I go to our webpage,
Right.
or our Facebook page.
Yeah. So you leave the broadcast on a different tab, and now you go to our thing, and you should be able to do a watch party from this one.
All right. What else is going on?
Let's see. I'm really enjoying the smoke right now because I have been too busy during the week to go smoke, and I can't go outside because it's been cold and I'm afraid. And so this is
start watch party. Okay.
There you go. So this is a big deal for me. And
okay.
I want a shisha.
So how do you do this? Just share with everybody?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, just hit start.
just hit start. Okay.
Yep. To go smoke, and I can't go outside.
Oh, but the
because
sound.
I'm
Oh,
cold,
that's
I'm
right.
afraid. Oh no. No. But now I hear myself twice. And I see myself twice. I can't do that.
No.
I don't know, man. I'm freaking out. There's me, and then there's a me on the computer that's a different me.
Should I?
It's like we switched time. Which one of you is talking?
Should I
Dave?
unplug? Should I unplug this?
Oh crap! I can't keep up.
How does that? Why is it going into the? All right. All right. You set up the watch party, and then.
Okay, yeah. Maybe
All
next time I should bring turn that off. That's
right.
killing me, man. Okay.
But you can still leave comments. Like we have a okay Boomer.
Your watch party is still going.
Bill Boomer joined. Huh?
Nothing.
All right. And Tom Jenkins joined too. So all right. So I have since we're in the first part of our podcast, which is talk about whatever the hell we feel like it. My OK Google is looking up stuff now that should be doing it.
At some point in the broadcast, we have to have our fight between our virtual assistants because they both sound like the same girl.
All right, so I have something to talk about. All right, so do you ever get like you like me shop on Amazon most of the time, right?
Yeah.
You buy all
as exclusively as I can.
I don't like going to stores anymore, but now do you get the little messages that there's things available or things that are on sale that they base on what you look at and crap like that?
Yeah.
All right. So usually I just ignore those. Lately, I've been watching Forged in Fire. And
what is Forged in Fire?
Forged in Fire is a show on History Channel where they bring these bladesmiths in and give them 3 hours to build a knife. And then
you can't build a knife in 3 hours. It takes years and years.
It's a contest. And then they send them home for 5 days and they build some iconic bladed weapon in history. And so so I've been watching Forged in Fire, and plus I bought a knife recently. Just like a kitchen.
And you're holding a really expensive lighter. Where is this going, Dave?
So I get an ad from Amazon for a cheap knife that I have wanted for a long time. All right, not a cheap version of a knife that I wanted for a long time for the grill, for the kitchen, stuff like that. Because one of the things is that I since my son became a chef, I try to chop like he does.
Oh, yeah.
But my fingers are like too big for the knives I have, so I end up like slicing my skin and crap like that. Like if you cut it properly, you're supposed to cut with your knuckles up against the knife.
Yeah.
All right. So I've always wanted a larger knife. So I get an ad from Amazon.
Doesn't every man want a bigger knife?
So I get an ad from Amazon, and I said, "Oh, hey, this is a good deal. This is a knife, a kind of a knife that I wanted for $17." I'm like, "All right, fine." So I order it. So it came today in the mail. So I brought it down here to show, because I didn't realize something as I was. Let me unbox like they do on the.
Yeah, your knuckles are gonna be fine, dude.
So for $17.
That's great. That's actually a great cleaver, dude.
Can
you please move away from me?
It was advertised as an 8-inch kitchen cleaver.
It is.
It's funny. Usually, 8 inches doesn't seem this big.
Well, that's because you got to measure from the base.
So right
here, the base.
It's
not
8 inches.
What you're thinking.
8 inches up and down. I thought it was 8 inches this way. So that's what came in the mail today. $17 on Amazon. If you want.
God, that's a nice. That's actually look how thick it is.
Yeah,
there's a lot of girth.
It's a heavy knife, but I can't see myself chopping an onion.
Yeah, that is not what that's for. That's for dismembering things. So you use that when you're taking apart a leg of lamb or something.
I gotta try. Now I'm trying to decide if I want it.
It's kind of scary. If I was wondering if maybe you could put it away.
Yeah. Now I'm trying to decide if I want it or
yeah, you do.
If it's just too big.
Look. Here's the thing. Even if you don't cook with it, set up a target in the basement and start throwing that thing, man.
All right. So that was my amusing knife story today. All right.
I've had the same knife for 15 years. I have an 8-inch Wusthof. I've had it repointed. I've had it sharpened. That thing is a powerhouse, man.
I have a couple of really good knives that I've bought over the years that I like using. And I mean, to the point where, you have to get them sharpened every once in a while because – but I have I don't know. I don't know how the hell we buy knives. I don't really go out and buy silverware, but I have a few knives that I don't use that just sit in the drawer. My kids will use whichever ones are not dirty because God forbid we clean something around here.
Now,
All
for
right.
those of you who are just joining,
Yeah.
uh,
And there are several.
yes, on both there's two watch parties going on. There's one on my feed and there's one on the B Cups Guide feed. I just want you people to know we're not professionals. As you can tell from the pictures that you can see, we do have faces for radio, so we got that going for us. And
I see Phil Kwasinski joined, which means we can't tell the Phil Kwasinski story that
I
I was
have it
going to tell.
lined up
'cause he's-
next, man.
He's,
I mean, the thing
Yeah.
with the dwarves and the bucket of beans, and was it that one, or is it the fish gut story?
no. So, okay, what else you got going on?
Wait, some of my friends are on your side. Oh no, that's not one of my friends. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So if you want to leave comments, we can see the comments. So if you want to ask questions, leave comments. I'm not going to chop off any part of Chris's body with the knife. So
not on camera. Should we? Because he's a cop and he knows not to leave evidence.
right.
Should we shout out to some of the people that are? I mean, I've got Gary Copeland, Adam Cruz, Debbie Royer, Robert Luna, Brian Craig, Mark Sabatino, Burks Norrid, Siobhan M. Murphy, whose name is properly pronounced Sioba, and Ann Bracewell.
Where did they come up with these pronunciations of names? Siobhan is one that's in the Irish, but like Shabola in the Polish community, it's spelled in a way that doesn't look anything like Shabola. It's
Dave, it's a different language.
PRZYLBR.
That's how it starts out. It starts out as a different language.
See, Phil Kwasinski would be able to comment on any of our Polish questions, I would think.
Tack.
Well,
Momimwe.
Bernadette
Polska.
Foley, I see, is
Our show should just be reading people's names.
Yeah.
That's our show. Thanks for joining us today, people. We just read names here at readnames.com.
Yeah, I was also trying to set up the live streaming, which is
Oh, what happened? What's going on?
no, that's on YouTube. YouTube
Don't
is
mess
not
with
working.
me, man.
So I'll just have to upload this to YouTube later.
Okay, here's what we do, because some of you are new. We smoke tobacco.
Yeah.
And we try to stay on topic. We fail miserably. This is and if you can hear a weird buzzing sound, it's also very important to know that one of the features of our show is that it's technically screwed up
I don't think
every single time.
you can hear it. Do you hear the buzzing?
That's why I said it with words.
Pull that red plug out.
I'm not touching anything, man. I'm afraid. You got a big knife and you're a cop. Oh, wow. That sounds so much better.
Well, that's the only. That's how we play the opening music. That's
Like a weight has been lifted off of me.
It's
from
weird
that.
because I muted that right after the thing, just for that very reason. But all right, so we usually generally divide our podcast into three
People
sections.
are confused that there's a cleaver.
Yeah.
That was a part of our show where we feature a cleaver. It's called Cleaver Feature,
Yeah,
and it's over now. Sorry, you missed it. And,
but we the first part is miscellaneous
with millenniums.
and then we go into food and movies and stuff like that.
I'm still in miscellaneous. I got problems, Dave.
All right, go ahead. And we also have an announcement that I read today on the paper. So
Okay, what? Okay, I'll
ahead.
wait.
no, you go.
I'm also an audience member. I have a problem. I don't know if I want to talk about that problem.
Oh, it's like the famous Martin Luther King speech. I have a dream, but I don't really want to talk about it.
What if he was sitting in like a Woolworths? Well, he couldn't. What if he was sitting in a coffee
well,
shop?
Just see, now we're going off on a tangent. Go back to what you were talking
It's
about.
historically accurate. Okay, this is a very personal thing. All right, I'm having a little bit of a problem, and my deodorant has stopped working. I don't mean today's
Yes,
deodorant.
it has.
Fuck off. I don't mean the what I applied today. I mean my brand. My brand has stopped working,
Well-
and it took me years to find a brand.
Is it your brand, or have you just had the deodorant you have today for too long and it expired?
No. What?
I don't know. My wife says things expire after a while.
Deodorant doesn't expire.
She told me the other day when I tried to drink milk, don't drink that. It's expired.
Yeah, but wait, what kind of deodorant do you use?
Um,
Does it start with the word yogurt?
Every Man Jack,
Okay.
sandalwood.
No, I use like jet fuel chemical level deodorant. It took me years to find the right one, and I've been using it for like 20 years. The same
Whoa.
brand, and it doesn't work anymore. And I've been embarrassed a lot lately, and I don't know what to do because where am I going to find one
What?
now?
What do you mean you've been embarrassed? People haven't come up to you and said you smell, right? You just think you do.
No, I know I do. I have a nose.
Whatever.
That's right.
I mean,
This
my
is
point
it. I
is
use this.
you smell.
Yeah.
You smell it,
No one said anything to me.
and then you get embarrassed, which makes you sweat even more.
No, I don't sweat when I'm embarrassed. I take notes.
All right.
when I'm embarrassed. I'm a humorist. Being embarrassed is my stock and trade, man.
All right.
So I don't know what to do. I tried.
Try different stuff.
You know that I did. I wrote an article about it. I tried a bunch of these organic hippie deodorants. They were terrible.
Wait, no, your deodorant hasn't changed. Your body has changed. Therefore, you have to try different deodorants again.
Nothing in my life has changed. My body should not be changing. Are
hold
you
on.
going to blow up? What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, the show will stop now so Dave can do personal
I thought I
stuff.
turned this down. I think apparently the president's on a tweet storm. So hold on. Let me. It is down. I don't know why it's beeping. Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
I just want to say thank you, Adam Cruz. I know that my musk smells amazing, but that's not what I'm trying to put out in the world.
Well, I don't know
That's
how to
not
help you
my
deal with your
truth.
problem.
I don't either. I had another problem this week.
What's that?
I ordered I saw something in your house like this year that I liked, and that is your TV couch.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's 2 theater chairs with like a thing in the middle of them, and it's got electronic stuff, and it's just really great. And I'm like, I should get one of those. And my wife and I had 2 terrible like lazy boy type things that she bought for $8 or $9, they were exactly as bad as you expect them to be, and it gave me back troubles, and they're awful. Anyway, we got a new one. And she said, you know, it's going to come on this date. I'm like, well, it comes in pieces, right? I can carry it. And she's like, yeah, of course it does. No, it doesn't. Guy rings my doorbell, comes in, he goes, I've got a skid for you. And I'm like, you got a what? And he goes, a skid. And I'm like, well, just bring it in the house. He goes, we don't do that. And he dropped it like at my steps. Like I had to climb over it to get in the yard, right? Zoom, off he goes. So I got a couch in front of my house.
Did you tip him?
Huh? No.
Okay.
Did not tip. So I opened it up hoping maybe it was secretly in pieces, and it was not. It was gigantic, and it's super, super heavy. And there's no way I was going to get it in the house by myself. Now, I've moved furniture into the house by myself before.
And I appreciate that you didn't call me because
No, okay, tangent. Of course I didn't call you. I don't call any of my friends when I need to move, because don't call me if you need to move. I will not help a friend move.
a friend will help you move. A good friend will help you move a body.
I won't do any of those things. I'll help you hide. I mean, you know, depends on whose body it is. But so I was like, what am I going to do? And then I remembered some kind of thing called TaskRabbit. And it's like an Uber for handymen. And so I opened it up, and sure enough, like there were dudes nearby who for a cheap amount would come and do stuff.
You mind if I ask what's a cheap amount for something like
It's
that?
$58 an hour.
How long did it take them?
Took them.
Is it a minimum of an hour?
It's a minimum of an hour.
All right.
And there were 2 guys, and took them an hour each. So I paid 2 hours. Now that's not like a standard price. That's what they set as their price. And there were other people that had like ridiculous prices, and I was like, nope. These guys came. They were incredibly professional. Like, this is the best service I've had in a long time. They come, they look at the couch, they measure, they come in my house, we move stuff around, they bring the thing in, set it down, put it together, easy peasy lemon squeeze. They move some other stuff for me. It was awesome. We're not getting paid by TaskRabbit. We don't get paid by anybody. Everything we do is dumb and made up.
That's because we don't know how to get people.
We
to
don't know.
sponsor.
If you're TaskRabbit and you're listening, let me tell you, Patrick on I don't know his last name.
Hey, we have the most beautiful woman in the world watching this right now.
Well, who is my wife on there?
No,
Oh, it's your wife.
She's the
that's on
second
there.
most beautiful.
Okay, well, let's just say that they're equal. Okay, let's just leave it at.
All right.
All right. One of our people said I should call their boys, and I'm going to respond with no. I don't call anybody.
Wait, is that to say I the only boys that one of our listeners that you would call that I would think of, I don't think would be able to handle a couch.
No, I don't think so. No,
They're smart.
but neither can
They're
I.
very smart.
They're smart enough. They're like, oh no, he got a couch. Run, go to school, do anything.
All right, so we have an exclusive announcement that I read in Feeder's column today.
Bum, 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 bum.
That I read in Robert Feeder's column. Bob Surratt's going to be back on WGN. Bob Surratt, a friend of the show, actually came on our podcast a couple weeks ago.
That's right. Historic radio personality from Chicago.
He is going to be on WGN morning 5 to 9 starting January 6th.
Wow, like right away.
Yeah, they announced it today.
When does he hire us?
I don't know. We'll see.
Bob, if you're listening, I know you are.
Yeah, but you haven't joined yet, Bob. So
You haven't joined yet. I know you're under a different name. I know secretly you're calling yourself Adam Cruz, but I know that's actually Bob Surratt. And I just want to say, you could probably use a couple of funny dudes on your show. We're cheap, $100,000 each for a year or a show or however. I don't know how this works, but we'll do it.
Yeah, whatever you need. Okay, so what else we got?
That's it. I'm done. Thank you for tuning in. We have nothing left to talk about.
Oh, well, we have stuff to talk about. Hold on, let me get my list of things.
I bet we don't. About. I bet we run out of stuff really, really quickly because we don't talk politics in the show. So those of you who want to talk politics, you're in the wrong place. Although we may at the end.
We sometimes talk about politics, like the fact that the president sort of got impeached.
Quit. Stop it, man.
Maybe
people need a break in their life.
May have gotten impeached this week. We don't know.
We are the break in your life from all the terrible politics you have to
sometimes though, I like talking politics.
Yeah, well, do it somewhere else. Get another podcast. I like talking about poop, but you won't let me, so I started another podcast for that. Fecal Matters.
I just don't see it. All right, hold on. Where's my podcast list? Okay, here we go. All right, so what do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Dave.
I mean, food, movies, videos.
I have to cook.
What do you guys want to talk about first? Food or
food? We always talk about food. I have to feed 22 people on Wednesday
for Christmas. And Merry Christmas, Chris. That's your Christmas present.
Oh yeah, there you go. Merry Christmas. If really.
Is that? By the way, Chris's wife calls.
That was not her. That was not her.
Anytime we're doing any show, we've been on stage, and Chris will answer the phone if it's his wife.
Well, yeah,
we've been on stage at corporate. We were hired to do a corporate event,
being paid a lot of money.
Being paid a lot of money, relatively speaking.
It's a lot
to the amount of compared to the amount of money we're making right now.
Well,
it was
I mean,
$1
would be a lot.
And he'll answer the phone right in the middle of a show.
I'm just looking at my feed. It's proof I have other Republican friends. All right.
Oh, okay. So what are you cooking for your 22 Christmas dinner?
Cooking a Flintstonian roast. All right. It is Flintstonian proportions. And
do you need a cleaver? By the way, I have
cleaver.
Since my wife joined, I have not shown her. I just bring back the cleaver again.
She's just waiting for a break.
I got an ad
to clean.
I got an ad that a knife was available for $17 on Amazon, and they sucked me in, honey. It wasn't my fault. And so I ordered this for $17.
We're friends, all right? Put the cleaver down.
So I think
Dave.
I might want to send that back.
Put the cleaver down.
So, all right. So
I'm cooking a giant roast, roasted potatoes, roasted beets, slow-cooked Brussels sprouts, corn, and kind of a Cajun corn soup.
Okay.
And then a shaved asparagus salad and a cheese plate, charcuterie, that stuff. And then
what do you use for shaving cream for shaving the asparagus?
It's really important when you shave an asparagus that you have a good lubricant. And I use Jones asparagus shaving cream.
Right.
It leaves a tingle,
Brussels sprouts slow. What the hell is slow cooked Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts in the slow cooker all day with hoisin sauce and then bacon. Although this time I'm not.
That sounds disgusting.
It is really good, dude.
Terrible.
Yeah. Okay. This time though I can't because I'm having vegans are going to be at my thing. So except for the roast, almost everything is also vegan. So I can't have any. Nothing can have mayo in it. Nothing can have cheese in it. It's all vegan as well as good. Just vegetables.
You don't just cook a side dish, a vegan version of each thing?
So I'm making them beet steak.
Oh, yeah.
My famous beet steak, where I take a giant beet that I get from the Ukrainian / Middle Eastern grocery store that I go to. It's like the size of a bowling ball, and I slice the middle of it and create a steak-like shape. And then I cook it like a steak, and I use steak seasoning, and it's freaking delicious. It's really good.
Steak seasoning is not vegan, though.
The stuff I use is vegan.
Oh.
What steak seasoning isn't vegan? You're an idiot. We make our steak seasoning from cows. That's why it tastes like steak. It's made out of cows.
I had
it's vegan to eat grass.
I had a vegan boss one time. Actually, Bernadette Foley was listening. I don't know if she still is. But I had a vegan boss who was also her boss at one time. And
your boss's boss? Like a grand boss.
We ordered filet of fish. He used to order filet of fish or some kind of fish sandwich, and then somebody accidentally switched it up and gave him the meat sandwich.
Oh my god!
I think they wrapped it wrong.
So he was a pescatarian.
So he was throwing up in the garbage can by the time we figured it out.
Oops. In other food news, turns out I did not poison my wife as I thought I did. Remember when she was in the hospital recently, and I was like, it was because of Taco Tuesday that I did. It wasn't. No.
Congratulations on not killing your wife.
Well, I mean, I consider it a practice run.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I looked at her life insurance lately.
For those of you who don't know, Chris, his favorite show is Forensic Files. His wife gets a little upset when he's taking notes.
No, it's the other way around. I can't tell you how many times I've jumped in the car when Colleen's picking me up, and she's like, shh, and she's listening to a show, and it's like, and then she killed her husband, and here's how she got away with it. And she's got like a notebook open, and it's color-coded, and she's got our life insurance policies on the dash, and she's like, here, try this. It tastes like almonds. Don't worry about that.
I one time drank. We had our windshield wiper fluid was not working, and so my wife.
Whoa, stop!
My wife put windshield wiper fluid in a water bottle and put it in the cup holder so that she can reach out and spray it on the. And so I took a couple of big old swigs of that. Ended up in the emergency room.
Yeah,
toxic.
Wait,
hold on.
I'm also making carbonated fruit for a dessert.
What's carbonated fruit?
So you get dry ice, and you put it like in a rag, and you put it in a cooler or something. You put some like grapes and orange slices and strawberries and stuff in there, and then you seal it up like airtight and leave it that way for like 18, 20 hours. And the nitrous or whatever the hell dry ice is made out of gets into the fruit. And it also it doesn't freeze it entirely, but it's pretty close to being frozen. When you bite into it, it's like carbonated.
Oh, that's good. It's carbon dioxide is what you make. Right?
Thank you.
Which is exactly
science.
what you would carbonate Diet Coke with,
Yes,
that's a good idea. I never thought it. You mix it with ice cream,
You can use it to make soft serve ice cream, but I'm afraid.
No, I meant, are you going to serve the fruit with like ice cream on the side?
No, I don't know how I'm going to serve it right now.
No,
I'm not sure because I like not only do I have vegans, but I also have someone who's allergic to both gluten and corn. So like cooking a whole meal for those two palates, and also for people who aren't allergic to stuff, is I should be a fucking chef.
I know Christmas is the accepting time of the year, but I think maybe you ought to think about dividing your friend groups up by dietary restrictions and then having them over for dinner.
It's vegan night, honey.
Yeah. Invite the vegan friends over. We're going to have a vegan
night.
dinner. We're going to invite the non-gluten, non-dairy people over today. We're going to have dinner. And then invite the paleo people over. We're going to have a big old roast.
All right, you heard it, people. My friends are now divided. Please send me your dietary restrictions, and I'll tell you what day of the week you're allowed to stop by my house.
Yeah, what group you're in.
Yeah, what group are you in?
I probably would be paleo, low carb, although I've been cheating this week. But
I also have beer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, my buddy Scott Dayton and I made a Christmas beer, and it's called Cardinal's Revenge, and it's a ruby red IPA.
Oh, that sounds good.
I can't wait. It's going to be so good. Too bad Timothy Holland Bernardi won't be getting any because he lives in Florida. That bastard. That's our show.
I met him, and he wouldn't answer the question. He almost punched me for asking it, but I still.
You can't say that you can't talk about it.
I can't talk about it?
I don't think so.
All right.
For sure. No. Who's messaging you now? Okay, here's the problem with Facebook Lives. We can't take a break so I can reload.
Go ahead, reload.
Yeah, but then we're not talking.
Well, you can talk while you do other stuff.
I can't.
All right. Did you? The Rainforest Cafe is closing. At least
Thank God.
The one at Woodfield Mall. And there was an interesting story. What is this? This is from Eater Chicago, and so the Woodfield one is closing, and all right. So we got. Oh, I can see the comments from the watch party. Oh well. All right.
We should just call this show the Beat Cup's Guide to ADHD.
Yeah, no shit. All right, so this has been there for 24 years in the 90s. Okay, and they started talking about the 90s were when themed restaurants really got big, especially in Chicago in the 90s. And I mean, we've had like Rock and Roll McDonald's forever, But the Hard Rock Cafe, the Rainforest Cafe, all these. What else? Okay, they didn't talk about any other ones, but
Are there other ones?
there's other themed restaurants. But there's other.
Sizzlers.
There's still going to be a Rainforest Cafe in Mall of America.
I hope they shut the one downtown. It's so awful. It is the grossest.
The one downtown is closed. They
Whoa,
closed.
wait, what?
Yeah, they closed it last year.
But it's still got lizards.
It's still there?
Well, I haven't been downtown in like a week, so I don't know.
No. 605. Yeah, 2 years later.
Proof that voodoo works.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they tore down the one downtown. They were talking about the fact that the Rock and Roll McDonald's has been torn down and then rebuilt. So yeah, they still have the one downtown.
It is a pretty nice McDonald's. I got to admit, it's pretty for McDonald's. Yeah. It's pretty swanky.
Yeah.
Do you have anything besides this bag of cherry?
Not down here, no.
All right, here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's how you load a pipe.
Yeah. So now I remember the Rainforest Cafe was like one of the first real nice restaurants we would take the kids to because it was good food, pretty expensive. But they have
sorry. Hang on. Hold everything. All right, there we go.
So now you don't like the Rainforest Cafe?
I hate the Rainforest Cafe. I hope that it burns down.
Why? Why do you hate it?
Because it's the Rainforest Cafe.
And you don't like rainforests?
No. Okay, first of all, who likes rainforests? All right. I mean, thank God the people in Brazil got their shit together and they're tearing the one in the Amazon down as quickly as they can. Who needs that shit? But it's just garish and horrible, and that's coming from me, man.
Yeah.
That's coming from me. Like
you're a king attack.
Yeah, thank you. Garish is my baseline, but look at I'm wearing a black t-shirt over black. I mean, that's not really garish.
What? Black t-shirt over black underwear?
Yes. They're good underwear. They're my best underwear, though.
They started out white.
Shut up. And
since the order doesn't work.
Shut up. I'm talking.
Right.
It's just awful. You've been there, right? You took your kids
when the kids were little. I haven't been there.
Kids love it because it's like Chuck E. Cheese on, like,
They used to have people walking around with birds on their shoulders and shit. They don't have that anymore.
Dumb. It's like a ride that was at Disney that failed. Right. And they were like, we got to do something with this.
But do you like any of these themed restaurants? I mean,
no,
Rock and Roll McDonald's, we that.
We live in Chicago. We don't need themed restaurants.
Have you been to Hard Rock Cafe? That's a
Hard Rock Cafe.
Hard Rock Cafe.
That's the
Hard Rock Cafe is up at the Admiral.
Totally different thing. completely different thing. Their dessert nipples of Venus, though, is you have to pay a lot extra for that.
So, is there any themed restaurants that you've been to that you like?
No.
Okay, well, that's the end of that topic.
And our show is over. I told you I can't do two things. Will you please talk so I can fill my pipe? I can't do two things at once.
All right. So another food thing from Eater Chicago, also from Eater Chicago. Andrew Brochu is taking over. He's opening up a restaurant. He used to be with Alinea Group, which is one of Bull's favorite restaurants. Which
I've never been to Alinea.
I won't pay. You've never been to Alinea?
Never been. No.
Oh.
I can't afford to go to Alinea.
But they're opening up a neighborhood, a throwback neighborhood restaurant in
like a diner.
It's sort of, but let's see, it's at 1523 West Chicago. It's going to be called Brochu, BROCHU.
That sounds neighborhoody.
And it's opening this summer, and it's going to be like sort of.
Oh wait, my sister just joined. We got to quit cursing.
Southern tinge dishes, that kind of stuff. So you probably like it. Chicken by the piece, chicken dinners. I think what they're looking for is kind of a sort of Chicago version of what's that one that's on the farm where they have the fried chicken down in Joliet? White Fence Farms. White Fence Farms.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I think it's kind of like a city version of White Fence Farm where they're going to have buttermilk biscuits with foie gras pate.
Well, that doesn't sound terrible.
No.
No.
What else? Oysters. So it's got a green gumbo. Okay. Baked version of green gumbo with scallions.
Why in God's name would you make green gumbo?
I don't even know what's the difference between.
I think it's gumbo verde. That means it's like a vegetable based gumbo. So it's like spinach and kale and stuff. That's not me. No, the table is blowing up. I don't know.
No, my dogs just went out, so set off the alarm.
Really?
Well, I got the Ring doorbell to watch the backyard.
Is there any part of your life that's not gadgetized
Yeah.
that we could talk
I
about?
had my
in there?
kids. I had my kids naturally.
There you go. Well, all right. Pardon me while I light my pipe.
Although if I ever get my hip replaced, there might be a hydraulic. Might pay extra for the hydraulic. Hip thing.
My wife got her hips replaced and they made her taller.
Well, yeah, I think it's probably not that she's taller. It's that she was slouching before because of the pain from the hips.
They actually they measured her hips, and one of her hips was 1 millimeter shorter than not her hips or whatever, the whole area. It was one side was a millimeter shorter than the other side, so they fixed that so she'd be even. And she swears she can feel it, and I'm like, no, there's no way you can feel that.
That's why she was walking around in circles the whole time.
Yeah,
before.
I used to have to put a wheel on one foot.
You have to adjust.
You know, it was embarrassing, but it worked for her.
All right, so I'm getting like comments, but I can't see them. So all right. I guess I actually did. I did start a watch party, but on my phone.
This tobacco is really good.
It's good. Yeah, it's great.
And you mix this? This is...
Yeah, it's wild cherry and deep red from Big Mike Cigar.
I feel like I'm in my grandfather's study, which is weird because my grandfather didn't have a study and he didn't smoke a pipe.
All right, so what other stories we got here?
That's it. We're done.
All
right.
Oh, here's this is going off. This probably should have been brought up in miscellaneous, but you are married to a lawyer, and so you might be interested in this. There's a legal showdown between Google and Oracle.
Google will win.
Where they're going to the Supreme Court, and apparently Google took part of Oracle's code to create. Sorry.
No, it's cool. People are just listening. I mean, it's all right. I just study.
Can
we have a moment of silence, Merwin, please?
They copied part of Oracle's Java programming language for use in their Android mobile operating system, is what they're accused of doing.
Whoops.
And so Oracle is suing Google.
That would be billions of
dollars. But so far, the
dollars.
courts have ruled that Google can use it because they use it for a different platform, which it's going to go to the Supreme Court.
It's not going to make it. They're gonna dial it back. That's just not cool, man. It's code plagiarism, and there's no way that they should be allowed to do that.
So you think that's what's going to happen? That they're going to go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court
they're going to settle for billions of dollars. Because when it was sold, now Oracle's going to get a piece of that.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about how many Android phones were sold. Yeah, Oracle's going to get a chunk of that, which they should have known because they're the Oracle. What the hell, Dave?
I don't know.
What is going on?
It's vibrating. I turn my phone down, but the every time I get a message, it vibrates. We got to get one of those silicone things on the table so that we don't feel the vibrations because they're probably going through to the podcast. All right, so that's about all I know about Google was that. All right, and there was another story also on Eater Chicago about the most anticipated restaurant openings in the winter, this coming winter. And one of them we have to go to.
Oh, come on. Why? Is it a theme restaurant?
Yes, actually it is. And I think it's a theme restaurant that you might actually like.
I'm turning my back.
Cards Against Humanity is opening.
No, we're going. We're definitely going to that. That is going to be great.
The
menu has to be part of it. Like the way you order is you play Cards Against Humanity, but with food.
All right. Wait. Let me.
We're playing games on Christmas Day. You should come by.
All right. So it's actually going to be called the Chicago Board Game Cafe.
Oh my God!
At 1965 North Milwaukee.
It's the Midwest. The lines will be around the block.
Yeah. Include a full-service restaurant and a bar, a game library, a shop full of Cards Against Humanity stuff.
Oh my God!
And even 2 escape rooms.
When does it open?
It's opening. Slated to open January 10th, and reservations are already available.
Man, I've never been to an escape room, but
Neither
my wife loves them, and I don't want to go because I don't want to be locked in a room with a bunch of people.
That's my wife's thing. I could take it or leave it. If my wife wanted to go, I'd go, but I don't care that I don't.
I would like to play a practical joke on one of those and like somehow make it seem like I murdered everybody, because they have cameras and they're watching and just like fake slaughter everybody and then stand there and go, "Let me out."
You could take my.
I can use a cleaver.
Because I mean, my tendency is when I can't get into some place, I just knock a hole in the wall and go right through. So
yeah, well, I mean, cop. Those are cop tendencies,
I'll be applying to the.
Pellegrino?
It's good.
It's good. Yeah.
Why? What'd you do to it?
Nothing. I just wonder what it's like.
Did he do something to my?
I wonder what it's like to have a drink right now.
I offered you coffee or San Pellegrino.
No, you just said, "Do you want a drink?" And I thought you meant like a cocktail.
Because that's what I do. I offer people cocktails.
That's right. You want a cocktail and go down in the basement? All
right, the Koval Distillery tasting room. I don't know what Koval.
They're a whiskey thing. We have more important things happening right now.
Okay, what's that?
My shack-in-law has joined the conversation.
Shack-in-law.
My shack-in-law.
I don't know what a shack-in-law.
Shack-in-law is, if you're shacked up with somebody, isn't it? You're not really married. You just, together. And so my Aunt Carol, who gave my son his favorite phrase in the world, the most Southern thing anyone's ever said to him, because he was getting in just a little bit of trouble, and she had out, "Boy, you better stop it or I'll break my foot off in your ass." And he said that. Like, imagine a little 9-year-old running around saying that all the time at Disney. It was bless your heart, Carol Wyatt Garlington, for teaching my son how to say the most Southern thing on earth.
Bless your God.
Bless your heart.
All right, so Koval is an organic. Is that how you pronounce it? Koval. Koval.
Weren't we going to talk about ancient aliens?
That's in the video.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead in class. Sorry.
I like laid it out. 3 miscellaneous, then food, then video.
It's the ADHD show.
This is what I have to deal with.
It's terrible.
I'm going to be looking for a new podcasting guest host. If anybody's
Maybe Bob
interested.
Surratt will do it. Remember last time we were on Bob Surratt's show?
I don't think we've ever been on Bob Surratt.
No, we weren't. Who was? You were.
Yeah. Oh, well. That's because,
Koval's delicious. It's good. It's good stuff.
It's because I have more of a face for radio.
No, I don't know. I think we could go shoulder to shoulder on faces for radio right there.
All right, so Koval is opening a 40,000 square foot facility.
Holy crap, that's enormous.
4 times what they are now. A cold kitchen with snacks, a patio, more space to learn about Koval's offering, and they're opening in February up at 4241 North or West Ravenswood. 4241 West Ravenswood.
I know exactly where that is. That's by Rojo Gusano. Oh, I know exactly where that is.
You know what? They got this wrong. Ravenswood is a north-south street. I thought it. That's Montrose and Ravenswood.
No. It's Berto and Ravenswood. It's between Berto and.
It's between Irving and Montrose. Yeah. There's a bunch of.
It's where the clock tower's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of.
I've been up in that clock tower, by the way.
Like loft. They have cool stuff over there. There's an artist right there.
Yep.
At Lawrence and Ravenswood.
There's a chess society that meets there.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, you know what? I think that used to be the Protactic Golf Club manufacturing building at 42.
Well, I know that they manufactured bells there a million years ago, like at the turn of the century, the other turn of the century, our turn of the century. They manufactured bells for clocks, which is why it's the clock tower.
I think that's the same building they built golf clubs too up until a few years ago.
Could be. All I know is it's going to be a great street because it's Rojo Gusano, then it's going to be Koval, and then it's going to be that Irish bar at the corner. So once I park, it'll be hard to make me leave. And right across the train tracks is the only Michelin-starred gastropub in the world, Banda Bohemia.
Really?
Oh, my God. They make their own beer, and they make their own beer. And it is worth it. It's good. Everyone should go there. Really crazy expensive, but worth every penny.
Ravenswood, it's crazy expensive?
Yeah. It's like a $3 sign restaurant.
Wow.
For sure. Yeah. You got to dress up and stuff,
Well, I'm looking for stuff that's out in the neighborhoods. All right, Radius. There's a restaurant called Radius opening up at 640 West Cermak in Pilsen. And it's a huge friggin' restaurant, 55,000 square feet entertainment venue.
What is with these huge 50,000?
Oh, you know what? This is
That's
gonna
gargantuan, man.
no. This is it's a concert hall. It's gonna be like Talia Hall. It's
You know,
called.
I've never been to Talia Hall.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful.
So many things have happened there, and I've never been able to go.
Talia Hall. The guy from Men at Work, Colin Hay, is playing there next month.
Wow.
So they're gonna have a full service restaurant. They don't have the details yet, but Chef Henry Hill will develop the menu. He worked at Dusix, another Pilsen restaurant.
He was a hitman, right?
He's coming from Talia Hall. So
Henry Hill, Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Henry Hill brought Dusix to Michelin star status while he worked there. So they're opening in February too. All right, so that's all my
Well, we're going to be
upcoming
busy.
restaurant openings right now.
Thank you for listening to Upcoming Restaurants with Dave.
Yeah.
Restaurants he'll never go to.
Well, I go to some of them.
Yeah.
I just won't go to the really expensive. I think there's a point where for every dollar you spend, the food tastes less and less good for me.
No. I think that's backwards, man. I
No.
think for every dollar you spend in Chicago, if it's a reputable place, you're more likely to get food that's amazing.
No, I'm not talking about the actual food. I'm talking about at some point I'm spending too much money to enjoy the food that I'm ordering.
Yeah.
I just
You start adding up how much each forkful costs you.
I mean, okay, my limit is like I like maple and ash steaks. I had a
They're
great
great.
time, but you start getting to a point where you're spending $100 for a steak, where you can spend $50 for the same steak. Then
But
at
you
some
can't.
point
You
Yeah.
can't spend $50 for the same steak.
you can. You can go to small restaurants and they're not. You're paying at some point for the name.
Okay, let's take Chicago
Chop out.
Chop House. All right. Well, how did you know that's what I was saying?
It's only when it starts with Chicago too. I figured you were going with restaurants and.
All right. Yeah. And
I am a investigator.
There you go. That's true. Oh no, cops. So they have these tomahawk steaks, double tomahawk steaks. So I mean, it's got an 18-inch rib, steer on there, and the steak is gigantic, and it's about 3.5 inches thick, and it's I think it's like 36 ounces or something. Like it's gargantuan.
But how much is the bone weigh? That's the first thing I think about whenever I see a tomahawk steak.
No, they're not weighing the bone.
Hell,
No, they're not weighing the bone, dude. And so they and they're dry aged, and they have their special spice rub that only they use and everything. And they've got a guy that's been cooking those for 100 years, and you just can't get that anywhere else. You literally can't get it. You can only get that kind of steak cooked that way at Chicago Chop House. Yeah, it's crazy expensive.
and I just don't see. I mean, I do think that dry aged beef is pretty good, but like you get to that Wagyu beef where they
Wagyu.
where they have
That's good.
what is it? They raise the cow and they have somebody go out and pleasure the cow every
They
day.
feed
and
it
that
beer,
makes
and by pleasuring it, they mean it. They massage it.
the massage parts of it.
Yeah, their back, not Yeah. All right.
I just don't see spending that much money, and what happens is that I stop thinking about how good the steak tastes and start thinking about how much money we're spending on it.
What's the most money you've ever spent on a dinner?
$250?
Well, that's a lot.
Yeah, that was the first special occasion.
Well, I mean, you don't do this every day. These are special occasion meals. Where was that at?
Maple and Ash.
Yeah, well, that's good.
We went out for our anniversary, and actually, I normally would not imagine spending $250 for just me and my wife to go out somewhere, and I actually saved up for that so that I wouldn't feel that as you reach for your credit card. Over the summer, every once in a while, I go to get a $50 gift card so that when I walked in there, because my son worked there, he's a pastry cook, and I didn't want to embarrass him by not tipping well and not ordering stuff. So I ended up bringing, enough so that we could order whatever we wanted for our anniversary.
Was it worth it?
It was, yeah, I guess so. It was, but like I said, it's a special occasion. It was an anniversary, and I can't see doing it just to go check out a restaurant. I would be just as happy going somewhere in the neighborhood and buying a $25 steak. It would taste just as good to me.
I think that the people that frequent these restaurants are
El Woods. I would go to El Woods.
El Woods is good.
And spend $100 for my whole family, including drinks, for a really good steak.
Or goat. I mean, it's probably goat. But the people that frequent these restaurants are in a different tax bracket than you and me.
That's true.
All right. So they're CEOs, they're startup guys, they're venture capitalists. You know, they drive Bentleys, man. So like $250 is no big deal for them. So that's who keeps these restaurants going. But also some of them are once in a lifetime things. Like I finally went and ate at the French Laundry a couple of years ago out in Napa Valley in Yountsville. And wow, it was amazing for me.
My pipe is great, by the way, Jim. Jim Buckley asked me how my pipe is. Oh, and Mary Kay, who joined too, was bringing up Ed DeBevick's was the other theme restaurant that I did like.
Ed DeBevick's is fun.
Ed DeBevick's was, and they're reopening Ed DeBevick's this winter.
Well, thank God.
At a different location, but I don't know what the address is, but they are reopening Ed DeBevick's. All right, are we done with food?
We're done with
food. Where are we at? We're at. Oh yeah, we're
now we talk about poop.
No,
okay.
We're not talking about. If you want to, he's got a fecalmatters.com. Go talk to. I don't know. It's when you get to the age where you have to start talking about bathroom stuff, you know.
Oh, like you don't. I've been to fish camp with you. All right. So, and if you don't talk.
All right. So, so video. Let's talk about video because we didn't actually. Did you see any movies at the theater this week?
No, I don't go to the theater anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, I do, but I haven't this week. So, although I do, I am planning on going to see Star Wars on the big screen. Are you going to go see Star Wars?
No.
Star Wars started today, and are you not a Star Wars fan?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Well, you don't want to go see the last?
Yeah, just bleh. I normally don't care about what people say about a movie, but I have heard that it is terrible.
Really?
Yep.
You know what, though? I've heard that about every single Star Wars. The only one I don't remember hearing bad reviews was the first one.
You know, it'll be out pretty soon. On the last movie I saw in the theater was Once Upon a Time in LA. So wait, is that the right name? Is that what the Quentin Tarantino movie that came out recently? Once Upon a
Time in Hollywood.
What's going on?
There's a cord down here.
Yeah, there is.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Boy, was that a good movie.
Really?
Oh, it's so good. And right now it's finally hitting the streaming services, but you have to buy it. You can't rent it. I'm not going to buy it, but wow,
that's
everyone should watch that movie. It was really good.
I wanted to see it, but it just didn't work out when it was in the theater. Whenever I wanted to go, we couldn't go or something. I don't know.
We went to one of those new theaters where you can have your dinner served in the theater, and we went there, and I was like, we were the only people in the whole theater. Then finally, like another couple came in, and they right next to us, and I was like, "No, there's a whole theater here, and no one's in it, and you're going to sit them next to us? No, move them." And they did. The people didn't want to sit next to us, especially after I said that. And and they bring you your everything is like supposed to be first class. Like they bring you your popcorn and everything, and you order, and they bring you food, and you can have cocktails in there and everything. You can't. It just doesn't work. Yeah. It's very intrusive. And then if you've got something wrong, and you're married to an attorney, then there's a long discussion during the movie with the waitress and then possibly the manager about what's wrong with the order, which really was wrong and was really truly stupid. But you can't watch the movie. You can't. It's not like home. You can't pause it.
Right.
And although I think you should be able to.
Well, that would throw off their start times.
Yeah, maybe.
And then in the most sensitive part of the movie, the waitress comes over and goes, "Is everything all right?
Yeah.
How's everything? Everything fine?
Everything good?" And they stand in front of you. Is it all good? Can I take this plate? No. I mean, the food was. We went twice. The food was good the first time. The second time, and the bartender was funny. The second time, they had already started.
Wait, they have a bartender in the theater?
No, they have a bartender. They have a bar outside the theater.
Oh.
That's why you wait. You get hammered. And then you go in, you order more alcohol, and the seats were good, and it was all great and everything. But it just doesn't work. You can't do that. You need to have popcorn and nothing else, and just shut up, man.
Yeah.
That's how you watch a movie.
I like the idea of having a theater with a restaurant attached that you can go before or after. You don't have to.
Like they used to do in Rosemont. I mean, maybe it's still there. I don't know.
And they still do in Evanston. Evanston has one in Arts, which we like. It's a good place to walk around too, Evanston.
You know, I've been to a couple that were like that.
Yeah, I can't remember where. Well, okay. You've been yelling at me for the last couple of weeks. I am all caught up on Mandalorian. So
Thank God.
let's take our Star Wars and segue into Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, it's really good.
Okay, you said something when when Mandalorian first came out that you said either you didn't realize or you forgot that Star Wars is actually a Western.
You know what? I had not forgotten it. I had never realized that before.
Yeah.
I am this many years old when Star Wars is a Western. And it's not just a Western, it's a Japanese spaghetti Western.
Right, that's what I was going to say. You really, now there's 7 episodes. I watched the 7th one today, and it is really true to form, going back to old school spaghetti westerns.
Yep.
Like it's almost like Clint Eastwood is
Even
doing.
the music.
Even the music, yeah.
Even the music. It really is like a Clint Eastwood movie. The Mandalorian's Clint Eastwood. And you have all the weirdos. Those are the strange, like, stock, like Eli, what was his name? The guy with the eye from
I don't remember. But also, I thought the one thing I thought of too as I was watching this was the story structure of all these episodes reminded me of Carradine. What was
Kung Fu.
Yeah, where he's walking through the world and saving people. They're all very focused short stories. With the whole Yoda baby and Mandalorian is a long arc. I mean, one of the things that started to bother me by 5 or 6 was that they haven't done anything with that story at all for a while. In episode 7, they kind of did.
Yeah. And
so it sort of came together a little bit and you started seeing more about the Yoda, but it's it just the story structure reminded me of that. There's these focused little stories and then you just go on to the next thing.
I still don't get where the Yoda baby comes from, though. I'm still having a hard time. I know it's supposed to happen after all the other Star Wars movies occurred
Right.
in the Star Wars universe, but I'm having a hard time with that because I don't understand where the Yoda baby came from. Well, I don't know where babies come from, Dave.
That's where Yoda babies come from. I think that's the long story arc that's going to, you may not find that out for a long time. What the Yoda baby's significance is. You're starting to see some of his powers or her powers.
Well, we don't know.
How do you tell?
We don't know.
So you're starting to see that.
Shit, I never thought about that. Is Yoda the Yoda baby? First of all, what's its name going to be? And second of all, is it a boy or a girl?
I don't know.
There's no way to know. Is Yoda a boy or a girl? It's never really established.
Well, I think Yoda was a guy.
No, Yoda was malish, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Yoda might have,
Well, it kind of looks like a frog. Maybe he was both.
Yeah, maybe it was a hermaphrodite.
Depending on what was.
I mean, let's face it, he was
available.
a Muppet. It's all hands on the inside. So
yeah.
Thanks, Frank Ortiz.
I also think that Carl Weathers.
Yeah, he's good.
I've been and every time he's on the screen, I enjoy it, and I wonder why wasn't he a bigger star? I mean, he's got to be 80 now, and I mean, he was. I always liked him in Rocky. I always liked him as Lando Calrissian in the Star Wars movies, and I don't remember seeing him as anything else ever.
Well, that's probably something if we were at a real radio station, we would have researched before we brought it up. But I don't really do any research. So.
And now they introduced a new character in episode 7 that came right at the end. The guy who's actually looking for the Yoda baby.
The Imperial dude.
Yeah, whatever he is.
I don't know. That was the guy from Breaking Bad.
Right.
He was the chicken dude from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's also in I believe Bosch. He's one of the detectives in Bosch, I think.
The Mandalorian is great because it kind of takes us back to the way they shot the original Star Wars.
Right.
They try as hard as they can to make everything practical effects, and it's really just very gratifying. Some things kind of like, I think the Mandalorian should be a better fighter. I kind of think that he should be more ninja, which means he should never lose, right? But he loses a lot.
Well,
he
ends up coming out on top. What also what struck me about the Mandalorian, and this might seem kind of weird. There's several scenes where, especially when he's flying alone with the Yoda baby in the ship, and he's moving around on his ship, and you hear everything.
Yeah.
When he presses a button, there's a click.
Yeah.
When a door opens and closes, there's an engine whining.
Yeah.
One of the things that always bothers me about these space movies is they make everything out to be so silent, quiet, fast, whatever, and like unbelievably great technology. And this is a guy who's basically really flying a bucket of bolts and putting it together as he flies. And it really, they have that effect by having all the sounds that.
So if his spacecraft, and now I can't remember the name of it, if it was an American car, what would it be and what year would it be? I'm going to go with, it would be like a 1978 Ford Bronco.
That's good. Oh God, I love the 1970s Ford Broncos. Yeah, I would say that it would probably be some kind of truck. I was thinking of a LeSabre, the 1970s LeSabre.
Here's the other thing:
a big boat.
So it's this super advanced civilization that can make a Death Star, and they have lightsabers and everything, but they still have to do stuff. Like they have to, like a lot of stuff is manual.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I think that their technology should surpass our current technology, right? Like, why isn't he flying that thing from a virtual screen? Why isn't everything a hologram? Why isn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like look at Guardians of the Galaxy, which I watched again last night. Great thing to do with your time. Their stuff seems pretty advanced for the most part because it seems weird and magical. But in The Mandalorian and a lot of the Star Wars movie, everything seems like you look at it, you go, I could probably build that.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You were talking about sounds and everything. There's some parts of it that it brings out the internet troll in me, all right? Which I know is not hard. And for instance, when you're like, your point of view is you're in space and you can see his jet or whatever it is in space, and he hits the engines and the fire comes on and you hear it go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't hear that.
Right. You can't hear in space.
I noticed that too.
But you need it. If they didn't have it, I would not be happy. I like it better wrong.
Well, yeah. In that case, you have to. Although it depends on your perspective. And a lot of those things, you would hear it inside the ship. It's only when you see the view from outside the ship that you say to yourself, well, you wouldn't be able to hear it from this perspective. But if you're assuming that you're seeing what's going on outside, but you're hearing what the Mandalorian's hearing, then you would hear that. You would hear that sound.
Yeah, but you're looking at the Mandalorian ship, so it's not what he's hearing.
Well, right. I mean, but I think that's the point. They're what they're trying to do. There was also an interesting thing today where they were talking politics for the first time, and I think that this is going to end up sort of being a signal that I think up until now you've sort of been on your own to figure out, the Empire's fallen, and this is post-Empire stuff, and they're all just getting along. And you had one of the Imperial guys today talking about how, well, now that the Empire's fallen, where's the freedom? Is it better now? He was saying we made the trains run on time, and now everything's chaos.
Yeah,
which is I think is gonna end up. It's gonna have to be a theme. You almost, to have this story arc go, you have to talk about the politics of what they're living in. So.
And here's a cool thing that happened to me recently. I went to Alabama for Thanksgiving, and we were in the Birmingham airport waiting for our plane, boarded, waited forever, and then they kicked us off, the whole plane, not just us. And so, of course, everyone to the nearest bar. And we're hanging out in the bar, and the woman sitting next to us pops her computer open. She starts watching The Mandalorian, and I'm like I'm putting a menu there so I can't see it because I haven't seen it yet, and there's a guy sitting next to her, and they're talking, and we're all kind of talking about The Mandalorian. He goes, well, I'm a stunt designer on that show.
Really?
And I was like, what? I was like, tell me everything. He goes, all I can say is, if you like the first season, we just wrapped in the second season, and it's going to blow your mind. And so now I'm like, oh my God, I got an inside scoop from a person who works there who didn't complain about anything. He was like, it's good, and you're going to love it. So apparently second season is going to be kick-ass.
So you heard exclusively here on the Beat Cups
Guide. You heard it first from
season 2 of The Mandalorian. Is going to be fantastic.
That's right. What other shows should they do? Do you think they should do a Wookiee show?
They're supposed to be doing a Rogue One. Not a Rogue One. The Rogue Squadron. The history of the Rogue Squadron, which was supposedly this great X-wing fighter group. So they're supposed to be doing that. But
I
You
want
know-
weird documentaries. I want a documentary on blue milk. I don't know where blue milk came from. Like, where do they get it? You know, what makes it blue?
fake documentaries would be kind of cool.
Well, I mean, they already have a show that does that. Documentary now.
No, I never heard of it.
Oh my fucking god, Dave! It's by and I can't remember anyone's name right now. God damn it! They do fake documentaries and they're amazing. What they do is they find old documentaries that kind of everybody knows, like Grey Gardens. Remember the ladies of Grey Gardens?
No.
Okay, this is gonna be hard. You have to watch documentaries. To get this. Okay, you remember Jiro Loves Sushi?
No.
Have you seen? For the love of Christ, Dave.
So you watch documentaries about food?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
You don't watch documentaries?
I
About food?
mean, I watch Modern Marvels, which talks about food, but I don't actually go. I mean, a lot of the documentaries.
Never watched
I watch,
Chef's Table or
Yeah.
Well, it's that's a documentary.
All right.
So they did so Jiro Loves Sushi was about the greatest sushi chef in Japan, Jiro something.
Oh.
Like, he's got 7 seats in his restaurant. The line is 5 years long. It's just insane. It's like a religious experience. And so they did a mockumentary of that called Julio Loves Chicken. And it's about a guy that lives in the mountains in Chile or something, and he makes chicken and rice. And it's like the best chicken and rice on earth. And it's just completely insane. And it was like line by line the same as Jiro Loves Sushi, except it's Fred Armisen. That's the guy. Fred Armisen plays Julio or Juan or whatever. And it's absolutely ludicrous. They did a sales documentary from an old documentary about salesmen that I think was just called Salesman. But in this one, it was called Globesmen, and they were door-to-door globe sailors. And they were like 2 teams, and they were fiercely competitive. It was completely, utterly insane. And Helen Mirren introduces every episode as if it's the 120th episode. It's been going on for 50 years. And it's just the greatest thing on earth. You've got to watch it, man. It's written by the best comics in the industry right now, and it is the craziest perspective ever. And yeah, hell yeah, I think that the Star Wars people, Disney, should do fake Star Wars documentaries.
Yeah, I think it's
One of them should be called "Why Can't Stormtroopers Hit Their Mark?" Right? And it should be like a huge controversy, like all of their weapons are made to have an error or something, and they're just finding out. I mean, come on.
Or why? What's the point of the stormtrooper uniform if they get shot with just one hit? I mean,
Right? Like they go down instantly.
Maybe it actually is supposed to be armored, an armored uniform, but the Empire sold it out to a slipshod armor company,
Yeah.
and so all the stormtrooper armor is just no good. So-
Why do they have every ship cleaned by those little fucking shoebox robots that run around?
I love those things.
I mean, there's got to be a better way, right? They need something better than a Roomba to clean a spaceship,
Another one. There was one. One of the things too I love about the Mandalorian is, when Star Wars first came out, R2-D2 was one of the most beloved characters. It was made out of a garbage can,
Yeah.
And so they seem to have gone back. If you watch Mandalorian and you look at some of the robots, they're obviously made out of parts. There was one made out of a KitchenAid. Just the other day, and it would be I think a good fake documentary would be how to build your own drone with parts you find around your spaceport or
And
kitchen.
it should
or
be the
whatever.
guy from
They ought to do a Dirty
hate
Jobs,
this.
a version of Dirty Jobs, but from the Star Wars universe.
My name is Pinto Slam. I'm a Sarlacc pit
No, do
cleaner.
Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe ought to do it. It'd be like, yeah, this is Mike Rowe, and today we're gonna clean the Blurg cage.
That's right. We're the Sarlacc pit teeth cleaners. This week, we've lost 197 guys this year, but it's a job and it needs to be done.
All right, so
What are the dumbest jobs in Star Wars? Let's just, before we go, 3 of the dumbest jobs in Star Wars. Garbage pit error corrector has to be a terrible job. All right.
Yeah.
Because, that thing's going to mess up and you got to go inside and you got to walk on top of all the garbage and figure things out. And there's something living.
Or when you shoot it out into space and something gets jammed, like a pizza box gets jammed into the chute, you have to go in there with a broomstick and knock it back out into space. And if you're not careful, you go right out with it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a shitty job.
Should be on Fecal Matters.
Where does all the waste go? You never see the Mandalorian, going to the bathroom.
No, you know what? Okay, this is why Fecal Matters is going to be big. All right, because everybody thinks about that. Tell me that when you're watching that show, you didn't wonder at some point, when does baby Yoda
I haven't
poop?
seen Yoda baby's diaper being changed.
When does
at
Yoda
all.
baby eat? Okay, we've seen him eat.
We've seen him eat.
When does he poop? Because if he eats frogs, live frogs, it's got to be bad when it comes out. All right, there's bones, and it's just got to be bad. And when does the Mandalorian poop? And when does he really take off his helmet? I mean, how does he brush his teeth? Is there an apparatus inside that does it?
No, he
for him?
takes it off. He just doesn't take it off around people. There is a scene with him taking it off, like in the third or fourth.
I didn't see that. Does it show his face?
No.
Okay.
No, they answered that question. That was the whole point of it, was that he does take it off. He just doesn't take it off around people. Nobody's ever seen him
What if
without.
he's, what if he's,
Because that is the way.
What? Do you think that he's with a girl that sometimes is like, oh, that is the way?
I have spoken. That guy's pretty interesting, although he died at the end.
Hey, spoiler alert.
You didn't see Seven?
Yeah, I did, but maybe some other people
Oh.
didn't.
Sorry.
Oh, well, now you know.
Yeah.
Old Chubby
The
Cheeks.
Blurg owner
Yeah,
died.
he's out, man. So the Blurgs are out too.
Yeah, they're all killed. So, all right. So we only got a couple minutes left. So what do you got? I'm going to see a double feature of It's a Wonderful Life and White Christmas on Sunday afternoon.
I missed mine.
Well, there's another one Sunday
I
afternoon.
bought tickets, and I was going to go with all these people that I know. I bought tickets a long time ago for me and Colleen, and completely, I'm sitting there. I don't know what I was doing that day, but I was out doing something, and get a text from somebody like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm out doing whatever. Why? What the hell's going on?" And they're like, "White Christmas."
What was that?
I was like, "Oh crap!"
I remember that one time. It's still whenever I bring it up, me and Annie laugh about it. We bought tickets to go see Garrison Keillor. They were doing what the hell is it? Prairie Home Companion from Ravinia, and we bought tickets months in advance. They were taped to the friggin' refrigerator. And one day we're having a barbecue. We turn on Prairie Home Companion. Hey, we're broadcasting live from Highland Park. I said, "Oh,
We should go.
we were supposed to go to that." And by the time it's too late then. So that's my thing. I'm going to a Christmas double feature with Santa Claus singing.
Why isn't Rocky Horror Picture Show a Christmas special? That'd be the greatest Christmas special in the world.
Well, you know what? We should have we'll have a Christmas show next. We'll have an end of the year show next week, but we can talk about
Unboxing?
Christmas. Yeah.
So
Boxing Day show.
Ancient Aliens.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Ancient Aliens.
We got time.
All right. I happened to turn on Ancient Aliens, and I'm just like
Happened to turn it on.
It actually
You don't watch it.
there was nothing else on, and I didn't feel like getting up and changing over to the Roku. And so I was watching Ancient Aliens for a little bit, and they were talking about crop circles, and I'm like, these people. There's something wrong with these people.
Yeah.
Um,
Because Crop Circle's the guy that started that admitted it. He goes, "Yeah, we started Crop Circle."
and they just don't believe him.
Yeah, they're like, no,
Nah, you
you're
couldn't have
jumping
done that.
on. Yeah, he's like, no, we did the first ones. Here's the tools we used. It was really easy, and you idiots fell for it.
Yeah, and they're like, oh no, his aren't geometrically whatever they.
Okay, but how much of that stuff do you buy into?
I don't really. I mean, I do think that with the universe as big as it is, there's got to be something else out there. I do think that we're not the only thing, but I mean, I don't believe in the whole advanced. They were here 1,000 years ago, and they're watching us from somewhere out there that we just beyond our sight. Until we get to a certain point and we survive a certain thing that it's,
Yeah, you say that, but let's look at our history. Let's look at the timeline of human civilization.
Okay.
All right, zoom out. So every quarter of an inch is 100 years.
All right.
All right, and for all of history, it's flatlined. Nothing changes.
Right.
And then in the end of the 17th century, 1690 something, between 1690 something and 1730, the line begins to rise, and suddenly it goes straight up. So in the last century and a half, all the technology that we have right now has occurred.
Yeah, but it's all built on. It's built. We improve. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
So you believe in it?
Why didn't it happen before? Doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it make sense that sometime in that period, an alien crash landed and said, crap, what am I going to do? I don't know how to fix my ship. I need parts. I need better communication. Everything I've got's busted. I need these monkeys to ramp up. And he just goes, hey, Sven, all right, here, build this thing for me. And you build this thing for me. And then he goes, all right, I'm going to wait 100 years. And then, and now we're getting closer and closer. Now he's like finally talking cars. Any minute now, they'll be able to build my Flirp 720 that I need to fix my ship and I can leave. Wouldn't that make more sense?
I don't believe it, but I can,
The
I can see
evidence is there, Dave.
I can see you're one of those people. You got to move over a little bit more.
Oh.
But also, the one thing though that I did get interested in was that there are places around the world, one in the permafrost up north somewhere, one in Colorado, where there are groups of people, and these are like I think government agencies saving seedlings of all
yeah.
the different.
Yeah.
In case of a global
There's one in Norway.
Yeah, the Norway's one
Yeah.
they were talking about. And so I thought that was interesting. I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. And it seems amusing to me that our politics are all going towards global climate change, but these people are saying, yeah, we're going to get hit by a meteorite and we're going to have to rebuild the entire
Look.
society. So
You know what? I don't want to talk about politics. I mean, this is not a conversation about politics, but the reason Trump is president is as a service to the people of the earth. That's why he's there. That's why this Boris dude is there. It's why things are going to hell. It's to distract us from the flaming meteors that are hurtling towards Earth right now that's going to destroy civilization. As long as we're watching the news and staring down into our phone, we're not going to notice, and it's going to catch us by surprise, so we don't have to spend all that time in terror. That's what's going on.
that's what, I think you're right. And on that note, I think we should end. So thank you for joining us at our first video podcast. I hope it worked. We'll find out. And we'll be back next year for our live end of the show extravaganza.
Well, it will be next year.
And
It'll be
or next week,
Friday.
next Friday. And we should now that we got this set up, if this worked out real well, we can do this from the cigar store too,
Yeah,
and get people walking back and forth.
yeah. It's just going to be so loud. I think we should put a green screen behind us and broadcast like.
We can do that.
Yeah, I mean.
Right now, I got to hang some more pictures. I got this one. This is Chris's Christmas gift to me a couple years ago of Lumiere from the Beauty and the Beast saying, "You're an asshole, Dave," which is great. Drawn by Philo Barnard,
The actual artist.
the actual artist. All right, so thank you for joining us. Merry Christmas to everybody. Chris, you want to say Happy Holidays because
Happy solstice.
you're liberal,
And
so
and
you don't say. He doesn't say Merry Christmas.
I look forward to. I am a corporal in the Christmas wars. I look forward to experiencing the Wolf Moon with everyone else come January.
All right, thank you.
Sagittarius. I'm not. I'm a Taurus. I don't know why I said.